The 14th of April, 1912. The North Atlantic is dark, freezing, and almost perfectly calm. RMS Titanic is moving west toward New York with more than 2,000 passengers and crew aboard. Ahead, hidden in the darkness, stands an iceberg. In our history, the warning came too late. The ship turned, but the ice damaged her starboard side. Less than 3 hours later, Titanic disappeared beneath the ocean. But imagine that the iceberg is seen only a few seconds earlier. The bell rings sooner. The order reaches the bridge sooner. Titanic begins to turn. The iceberg passes beside her. There is no impact, no flooding, no panic. Titanic survives. Captain Edward John Smith remains in command. Later, people claimed that Titanic had been called impossible to sink. Some even said that not even God could sink her. But there is no reliable evidence that Captain Smith ever said those words. The confidence surrounding Titanic was real. The famous quotation probably was not. On the evening of April 14, life aboard the ship had seemed completely normal. Passengers finished dinner. Music played. Lights glowed inside the lounges. Outside, the sea was unusually calm. There was no moon and almost no wind. Because the water was so smooth, waves did not break against the iceberg. That made the ice much harder to see. At 11:40, the lookouts finally see a pale shape ahead. In this timeline, they see it soon enough. The bow moves away. The distance closes. For several seconds, collision still seems certain. Then, the ship passes the frozen wall. Perhaps only a few meters separate steel from ice. Inside, a glass may slide across a table. A door may swing open. But most passengers never learn how close they came to death. By sunrise, Titanic is still moving toward America. Several days later, the American coast appears. Small tugboats approach Titanic. Crowds gather near the docks. Journalists wait for the passengers. Titanic enters New York Harbor and completes her maiden voyage. For the White Star Line, it is a triumph. Its newest ship has crossed the Atlantic safely. If the near collision becomes public, the company may even use it as evidence of Titanic's strength. Instead of becoming a warning about human confidence, Titanic becomes a symbol of engineering success. The greatest immediate difference is human. In real history, more than 1,500 passengers and crew members died. Here, they arrive in New York. Thomas Andrews returns home. John Jacob Astor lives to meet the son born several months later. Isidor and Ida Strauss remain together. Hundreds of emigrants begin new lives in America. Families are not separated. Children do not lose parents. Parents do not lose children. We cannot know exactly how these people would change history, but thousands of personal futures would continue. Yet one dangerous problem remains. Titanic carried only 20 lifeboats. Together, they had room for 1,178 people. That was far fewer than the total number aboard. Still, the ship met the British regulations of the time. Those rules were outdated. They had been written before passenger ships grew so large. After the real disaster, investigations began in the United States and Britain. Officials examined the lifeboats, radio procedures, warnings about ice, and the ship's speed. But without the sinking, there are no grieving crowds outside White Star Line offices. There are no survivor stories. There is no public outrage. Officials may still discuss reform, but discussion is not the same as action. Without tragedy, the pressure to change the system becomes much weaker. Safety costs money. More lifeboats require more space. Continuous radio operation requires more trained operators. Evacuation drills require time and organization. Without a catastrophe, shipping companies can argue that the existing system is already good enough. Titanic becomes their strongest example. The danger was seen. The ship turned. The passengers arrived safely. Why change a system that appears to work? But the risk does not disappear. Another liner may meet an iceberg. Another ship may suffer a fire or collision. A damaged vessel may begin sinking far from help. And that ship may also carry too few lifeboats. We cannot name the ship or choose the date. That would be fiction. But the weakness in the system was real. The next disaster could happen during a storm. The nearest rescue ship could be farther away. The vessel could sink faster than Titanic did. In that world, another name becomes famous. Another captain is blamed. Someone else pays for the lesson the world refused to learn. If Titanic survived her maiden voyage, she would probably continue carrying passengers between Europe and America. But only 2 years later, the First World War began. Large liners became troop transports and hospital ships. Olympic carried soldiers. Britannic became a hospital ship and sank after striking a mine in 1916. Titanic might also enter military service. She might carry troops, become a hospital ship, or remain in port. She might even be destroyed during the war. If she survived, she could return to civilian service. Then newer ships would appear. Her engines would age. Her interiors would become old-fashioned. Eventually, Titanic might be dismantled for scrap. Not a legendary wreck. Not a global symbol. Just an old ship from a vanished age. So, what if Titanic never sank? More than 2,000 people would reach New York. More than 1,500 lives would continue. Hundreds of families would remain together. But maritime safety might change much more slowly. The shortage of lifeboats would remain. Weak radio procedures would remain. Confidence in giant ships would grow stronger. The catastrophe might not be prevented. It might only be delayed. In our history, Titanic struck the iceberg and became a warning. In another history, she passed safely through the darkness. The ship was saved. But the warning was never heard.